tenfold after the deal was announced. AAFS Infrastructure and Energy, which is on the cusp of securing a waiver, a $1 billion contract to build and operate a pipeline across the Balkans, has ties to former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and the lawyer Jesse Banal that defended the president and Donald Trump Jr. against a lawsuit that sought to hold them responsible for January 6th. This company would be allowed to ship fossil gas from the United States to replace Russian fuels. My question is, and we know that the administration, you gutted the public integrity section for the last 50 years, investigated, prosecuted crime related to government integrity, and they prosecuted both Democrats and Republicans. Simple yes or no question. What I've just mentioned, do you believe that what I've talked about is enough here for the next Attorney General to open a criminal investigation? Yes or no?
No, you just read a bunch of random, unsourced news articles and reports. No, that's not the basis to open a criminal investigation. I mean, you're looking around, but it's not.
This is not the basis on which
it is not. Just reading something that's just a hypothetical off a news article,
it's not a hypothetical. It is real. Did the president get a Qatari? What? Do you read the press? Are you knowledgeable?
Not the same press you do.
Apparently not, my friend.
Promise.
Apparently not. Did the president receive a luxury jet from the Qatari government valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, which is a violation of the emoluments clause of the Constitution?
It is not. It is not.
Wow, you do not belong in this job, Mr. Acting Attorney General. You should always recuse yourself from these issues because you are the president's lawyer. You are not the lawyer for the United States. Yes, you are.
I am not.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Clyde.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, Mr. Acting Attorney General, I'm sorry to hear that the weaponization fund is not moving forward. You would have my full support. When our government is weaponized so as to steal money from innocent law-abiding citizens, whether by making the process into the penalty or forcing citizens to spend their resources on legal fees for their defense, or by actually seizing their bank accounts through civil asset forfeiture when there is no criminal prosecution, it is only right and fair to make these citizens whole. And as a victim myself, for which every solitary member on this committee who is 8 years or more in Congress voted for the bill that has my name on it, the federal law that has my name on it, against the IRS, people need to be made whole when the government has been weaponized against them. But what I'd like to talk to you about, other than that, is in 1873, Congress enacted the Comstock Act, 18 U.S.C. Section 1461, which prohibits the mailing of abortion-inducing materials in the United States. Although the statute has been amended numerous times, including as recently as 1994, Congress has never repealed these criminal prohibitions. And as Justice Thomas recently noted, the Comstock Act remains valid federal law and is fully enforceable. So my question to you is, how will the Department of Justice ensure that this federal law prohibiting the mailing of abortion-inducing drugs is properly enforced? And I wish I had more time to really go through this, because we in the state of Georgia have a heartbeat bill, and we prohibit this type of drug, all right, inducing abortions, and yet it can come across from other states, all right, and kill innocent unborn children. How will the Department of Justice ensure that this federal law is enforced?
So that's an important law and an important question, and I will tell you that there's a lot of effort within the department, and it's not just at the Department of Justice, it's other agencies in the federal government into how the best way is to make sure that we're protecting the rights of Georgians and other individual states, but also the rights of every American. And that you're right. I wish we had more time to discuss that because it's a complicated issue. On the first question that you asked, I could not agree with you more that this Department of Justice was weaponized, unfortunately, against many, many Americans, and we're trying every day to fix it. And we've made a lot of progress, but we have a lot more to do.
Well, thank you. And by the way, I had an apology from Mr. Lewis, the ranking member of that subcommittee. Y'all remember him? All right. He said, I want to apologize to you for what a piece of my government, what the IRS did to you. I wish you well. I thank you and I yield.
Mr. Ivey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to ask you, it's a follow-up actually to a letter that I think 57 of my colleagues and I sent. This is about the shootings of Alex Pretty and Ms. Good in Minneapolis. The issue there is the Attorney General for the state, and I think some local prosecutors have said they haven't been able to get access to the evidence related to those shootings so they can make their own independent judgments about whether they should move forward with cases or not. The letter we sent, I don't think has been answered, but are you going to be committing to sharing that information immediately to these state and local
No.
prosecutors? Why
No,
not?
that's not what we do in criminal investigations.
I disagree.
Well, I'm right, you're wrong.
Well, let me say this. Your predecessor, Rod Rosenstein, and I, when he was U.S. Attorney in Maryland, I was the state prosecutor. We shared evidence in these kinds of cases all the time, and then we made a determination about which would go forward. But the refusal to share evidence is
No, that's not what I
highly
said. I didn't say I refuse to share evidence, sir. You said, do I?
I mean, immediately.
Right,
shared
that's what I said no
evidence.
to.
We
There's a
shared
process.
the evidence immediately.
No, you
and then
didn't.
yes, we did.
No,
Yes,
that's
we
not.
did.
Look, it's
on to the
the
next thing. You mentioned that it's important to make sure that bad guys don't just get arrested, but they pay back their victims. And that struck me as ironic, given the number of pardons that this president has issued with respect to. I'll come back to you later. Devin Archer, Sioux Nation, $60 million, $43 million in restitution was wiped away by the pardon. Carlos Watson, $36.7 million was wiped away by the restitution. The Chrysleys, $21 million was wiped away by the restitution. Mr. Schwartz, I don't remember what that number was in his particular case, but over and over again, victims have been of fraud. So if they personally lost the money, it was taken out of their pockets. Issue a pardon, they don't get paid, they don't get made whole. Will you commit to trying to find a way to make those people whole who've been denied this access to the information?
As I said to you earlier, sir, the Constitution of our United States gives the president the power to pardon. That is not a decision for me to make or you to make. It's a decision for the president of the United States to make.
Could I have just one more question, Mr. Chairman?
Without objection.
With respect to civil liability for these people, which they're not pardoned for, and the Department of Justice can pursue civil remedies in cases that involve
Depends
fraud.
on the case, right. It depends on the case.
Well, if they've been convicted for criminal liability already, certainly they can be convicted or
I mean, it
pursue
depends
civil.
on what the crime they were convicted of.
Well, I just read them off to you. They were fraud convictions.
You didn't read off the crimes. No, I mean, it just depends. I appreciate what you're saying, and you're right that a pardon doesn't cover civil liability.
Will you pursue civil liability in these cases
I'm not
where
going
these
to commit
people
to
have been
pursuing
left?
civil liability right here, no.